Iran shocked the world by dumping FBI Director Kash Patel's personal emails, exposing humiliating details like Indian bank accounts and secret trips to Havana, Cuba, not for business, but for pleasure. But here's what the corporate media won't touch. Iran didn't hack Patel, they hacked Israel, they hacked Mossad, just as we've been reporting for months. That's right, the sitting FBI director's entire personal inbox was sitting on Israeli servers. Israel holds the compromat on one of America's top law enforcement officials. And it gets darker. The Handler hack team says this is only the beginning. They've got more, much more, including paedophile code words, cannibal code words, and proof that not only is Jeffrey Epstein alive and living in Israel, Kash Patel and his former deputy Dan Bongino played active roles in the cover-up. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. Kash Patel's year from hell just got a whole lot worse. The same man who botched the Epstein files release, and who's been covering up the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation, just had his personal emails hacked by Iran.
15 past with the breaking news. Reuters is now reporting Iran-linked hackers are claiming they have breached the personal email inbox of FBI Director Kash Patel. Those hackers have published photographs of Patel along with his purported resume and what appears to be personal correspondence dating between 2010 and 2019. The hack does not cover his time as FBI director, but it does allegedly cover the time he worked in national security and counterterrorism at DOJ, and depending on how far into 2019, possibly his time on the National Security Council.
And the mainstream media? They're not giving you even half of the story.
This is just coming out. FBI Director Kash Patel has had his personal accounts leaked by the Iranian hacking group Handler. They've posted these different photos of him, as well as his resume and emails. They just posted this online. Today, once again, the world witnessed the collapse of America's so-called security legends. While the FBI proudly seized our domains and immediately announced a $10 million reward for the heads of the Handler hack members, we decided to respond to this ridiculous show in a way that will be remembered forever. Kash Patel, the current head of the FBI, who once saw his name displayed with pride on the agency's headquarters, will now find his name among the list of successfully hacked victims. All personal and confidential information of Kash Patel, including emails, conversations, documents, and even classified files, is now available for public download. This is the security that the US government boasts about. This is the cyber giant that thinks threats and bribes can silence the voice of the resistance. To the whole world, we declare the FBI is just a name, and behind this name, there is no real security. If your director can be compromised this easily, what do you expect from your lower level employees? Keep in mind, a while back, they also hacked the phone of the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak. This is him in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan apartment.
The people are rising up, demanding answers. How can the director of the FBI be so breathtakingly incompetent that he can't even protect his own personal emails?
Kash Patel, the American people want to know, how does it feel to be a cuck for Israel?
Just quickly, if Kash Patel had been running things through VP.net, foreign adversaries wouldn't have stood a chance. This is the world we live in now. The internet is their new battleground. Don't make the same mistake as Kash. Check out vp.net/TPV to see how you can disappear from their systems. Now, in a chilling new transmission, an Iranian operative openly explains exactly how they hacked Kash Patel's personal emails and reveals the explosive information they're still holding on to.
We had penetrated deeper than anyone realized. Not just surface systems, not just infrastructure. This was personal. Entire mailboxes, decades of correspondence. Not only regional actors, but individuals embedded at the highest levels of power in the United States. Names you would recognize instantly if I said them, which I won't, not yet. At first, I thought it was a trick, fabrication, a plant designed to mislead us. But the volume, the consistency, the metadata, you can't fake that at this scale. Not terabytes of it. Not with that level of continuity. Israel, what they had, what they were sitting on, it wasn't just intelligence, it was leverage. Complete psychological profiles, travel records, private habits, financial anomalies, personal weaknesses cataloged with clinical precision. Not just politicians, judges, media figures, donors, gatekeepers. You start to understand something very quickly when you see it all laid out like that. Power doesn't move, the way people think it does. It's not ideology, it's not loyalty, it's pressure. And then there were the emails.
But these emails expose far more than simple leverage. They reveal an entire network of potentially compromised politicians, powerful figures whose dirty secrets are now sitting in the hands of foreign adversaries, pulling puppet strings in Congress and the White House.
You notice patterns when you read enough of them. Certain phrases, strange repetitions, language that feels coded, innocent on the surface. But when you cross-reference it across different threads, different years, different people, it stops looking innocent. Some of the younger analysts joked about it, called them FBI code words, pizza, parties, travel arrangements that didn't make sense. It sounded ridiculous. Until it didn't. Until you start seeing the same language used by people who have no reason to know each other, except they do.
He also dropped a bombshell. FBI top brass, including Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, have been deeply complicit in covering up the crime of the century. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself in that jail cell in 2019. He was extracted in a Black Ops military operation and quietly exfiltrated to Israel, where he's still living safely to this day.
In one thread, there's a reference to a name you know, Epstein. A man the world believes died in 2019, but the tone wasn't mourning, it was logistical. He's still a variable in the equation. I remember staring at that screen for a long time. We didn't just access a system. We opened a vault, and what I saw was only the beginning. There are archives we haven't even decrypted yet. Entire datasets still being processed. Terabytes upon terabytes. This, what I'm telling you now, this is just the opening salvo. You think the world you see is the real one. It isn't.
No wonder Kash Patel's former deputy Dan Bongino was just told to his face that he's a paedophile protector.
You're a pedophile protector. A pedophile protector. Pedophile protector. I was a cop for 9 years. You're a pedophile protector. You're a pedophile protector. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Dan Bongino is completely traumatized after being called a paedophile protector to his face. The next day, he tried to convince his audience that people who demand Epstein accountability are not in our club.
They show up at MAGA clubs and cause chaos. They had a group of them show up this weekend after this event, screaming and cussing, calling people. By the way, not just me and others. These are guys telling you they're part of your crew. This actually happened.
They are protecting paedophiles. Emails from March 18, 2025, obtained by reporter Jason Leopold, show FBI staff seeking guidance about how to protect compromised VIPs. Declassified files prove that Dan Bongino was approached in March 2025 to help redact and censor the Epstein files. No matter what he does, history will always remember Dan Bongino as the man who protected paedophiles.
This one's not readable. It's completely redacted. For the most part, the first 50 pages.
Never forget, FBI Director Kash Patel said under oath, there's no credible information that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked minors.
There's no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
There is an archive that has 2.5 million documents, 38 witness statements, and a federal conviction that says otherwise. And that heavily redacted archive only holds 1% of the documents the FBI is sitting on. Let's be real, we've all been fed the lie that wrinkle creams are the ticket to looking young. I call bullshit. Dr. John Lake, a renegade beauty expert out of Beverly Hills, says that's a scam. Most of those fixes are just overpriced lotions that do nothing, or worse, mess up your skin. He says that he's done with the scammy cosmetic industry. Why? Because he wants to expose something they don't want you to know about. A 2-minute trick that's like Photoshop for your face. Wrinkles gone. Years erased. And it's so easy, you'll be pissed that you fell for their junk before. The cosmetic industry is afraid of the secret, because this could gut their racket. Lake is spilling the truth in a free video exclusively for viewers of this channel. No strings, no interruptions, just all the steps needed to do it yourself. It's already amassed over 2 million views because it actually works. People are dropping decades and the comments don't lie. You've got to see this. Visit bhmd1.com/TPV. The link's below. Don't sleep on this because it's the real beauty secret they don't want you to know about. Visit bhmd1.com/TPV. Watch this next video. The moment Patel finishes reading the papers, his entire demeanour shifts instantly. Then, he makes 2 secret hand signals to somebody off camera. Why would the FBI director need to do that? Kash Patel has been living as a hostage from the moment he read the Epstein files. Remember the interview with Dan Bongino from February last year? Megyn Kelly said it looked like a hostage video. She wasn't wrong. The coup is complete. While we've all been worried about creeping Sharia law, they've been sneaking in Noahide law while we were looking the other way. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was joined by Chabad Lubavitch yesterday and signed a proclamation endorsing Noahide laws in Texas. He also celebrated the birthday of Chabad's fake messiah and told the rest of the state they should do the same. What is Noahide law? And is it compatible with the great state of Texas? You be the judge.
I got this rabbi's prayer at one of Trump's rallies.
May we move forward together seeking to build a future that reflects the will of God and its values based on the 7 Noahide laws that will unite us all together. Amen.
If you break one of the Noahide laws, it's punishable by capital punishment. Want to know the first law? Idolatry. You know what they consider idolatry to be? Acknowledging Jesus.
So, ChatGPT, I recently heard that Donald Trump was invited by the Jewish Sanhedrin to an international divine court in Israel. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct. The nascent Sanhedrin invited Donald Trump to support the creation of an international divine court based on the 7 Noahide laws.
Yes, the 7 Noahide laws. We find this in the Jewish Talmud, correct?
Yes, the 7 Noahide laws are derived from Jewish tradition and are found in the Talmud.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The consequences for breaking one of these Noahide laws would be capital punishment. Is that correct?
In ancient interpretations found in the Talmud, breaking the Noahide laws is described as warranting capital punishment. However, these interpretations are not reflective of modern practices.
But according to Sanhedrin 57A, that capital punishment is decapitation, correct?
Yes, in Talmud Sanhedrin 57A, decapitation is mentioned as a form of capital punishment for breaking the Noahide laws.
Now, the first Noahide law would be, thou shalt not commit idolatry, correct?
Yes, the prohibition of idolatry is one of the 7 Noahide laws.
Now, under Jewish beliefs, committing idolatry would be the worshiping of Jesus Christ. Is that correct?
In traditional Jewish belief, worshiping any entity other than God is considered idolatry. This perspective includes the Christian worship of Jesus.
Sounds like the once mighty state of Texas is in the process of being colonized.
Well, a town in Texas has over $4 million of its own local tax dollars being sent to Israel. When they audited their books and found this, the town of St. Marcos decided to stop that aid. Now, Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott of Texas, says you actually can't do that. It's against the law. Now, Israel receives billions of dollars in federal aid from the United States government. This local government, for a small town of only 70,000 people, found that their residents were sending $4 million a year. And they said, we actually don't want to do that. We want to send that to our local schools, our fire departments, maintain our roads. And the state is saying, you cannot do that. You must continue to send that money to Israel.
And don't forget, the internet is their new battleground. Whether you're in a position of power like Kash Patel, or just somebody asking the wrong questions, digging into the darkest rabbit holes, the goal is the same. Discredit you, isolate you, ruin you. That's why tools matter. Check out vp.net/TPV. A VPN built on the idea that you shouldn't have to blindly trust anybody. Plans start at just $5.55 a month for our viewers. Because real security doesn't ask for trust, it proves itself.